Hello guys and dolls. Before we actually get to the tutorial that you're intending to watch, I wanted to let you know about a wonderful charity auction that's going on right now. I found out about this a couple days ago and I knew I really wanted to let you guys know about it, so hopefully you don't mind the intrusion at the beginning of this tutorial right here. It is organized by Carla of Carla Sugar, and if you don't know who she is, then you must not have ever googled swatches, because every time I google swatches, hers come up. She's famous for like the arm swatches where she shows like the full arm, and her swatches are amazing. But anyway, totally getting off track. She organizes this charity auction every year where she has bloggers and brands put up lots of either one item or a few items grouped together, but each person contributes a lot or items to a lot, and then readers and viewers, you guys can actually bid on them, just like kind of like eBay. But unlike eBay, every cent of the auction bid amounts are actually going to go to a charity. This time around it's Doctors Without Borders, which is a wonderful organization. The items up for auction have been donated by the brands and bloggers, but they're also donating the shipping. So every cent you bid will actually go to a charity, which is amazing. It's really great that Carla put this together, so kudos to her. And if you have a couple extra dollars and you'd like to get a beauty item that's maybe discontinued, limited edition, or maybe you just are in a charitable mood, definitely check out beautybloggers.org and bid. So with that said, let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Hello guys and dolls, welcome back. Today I'm doing a tutorial that is inspired by two completely different things. The first one is that I get a lot of requests to do a date type makeup, so this is really, perfect for that. It's kind of fun and flirty, and it's a little sexy without looking like you're trying too hard. But I also briefly touched on the subject of getting a guy to notice you on my blog, my advice column, Ask Cora, so I will have a link to that if you want to check it out. It's a little bit different from this. It's just talking about how, the best thing you can do is just be yourself, really. So anyway, aside from that, there is a palette from Bare Essentials called the Dream Sequence that I wanted for evers and evers and evers and evers. But I could never justify buying it because I basically have all the colors already from various different brands. I just never have put it all together because part of me has just been like, but I just want it. No, Cora, you have it, you don't need it, don't buy it. So what I will say is that if you were to actually use all the different various shadows that I use to recreate that palette, it would be more expensive than just buying the palette. So if you don't already have these colors, you should totally get that palette. But since, I basically already have them, it would be a waste of money, but I still kind of want to buy it. So anyway, I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day, and if you want to see a full list of products, go ahead and check out my blog. I'll also have photos of this look, and that's pretty much it. If you'd like to learn how I created this fun and flirty date makeup, then let's get started. Alright guys and dolls, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to apply a base, and I'm using MAC's Painterly Paint Pot. It is an eyeshadow base primer in one. It gives you a little color, gives you a little crease resistancy. It's pretty awesome. And to apply that, I'm using the large shader E60 from Sigma, from the new Bunny collection, which I am loving. Definitely check out my review if you haven't already. Now I'm taking a Sigma E40 brush and Charisma eyeshadow from a brand called Empty Coffins. And I'm using this as a background color, so I'm going to rock this right through my entire socket line. Rock it in your socket. I know you guys always love it, I say that. And this shade is not necessarily the most original shade. Lots and lots of companies have a color like this. It's got a pink base with sort of a violet blue duochrome to it. It's very, very pretty, but honestly, you probably have a dupe for this already. Alright, now I'm going to use two MAC shadows to get the exact tone of purple that I want. I'm using a combination of a Pro eyeshadow, which is called Indian Ink, and a regular matte squared eyeshadow called Fig 1. And I'm applying that with a concealer brush from Sigma. This is the F70, also from the Bunny collection. Once again, I'm loving these brushes. And I'm just using that right there on the outer edge just to give me a little bit of, some sultry darkness, little depth to the eye, that kind of thing. So you're going to pat it on, and then you're going to use the same brush that you used to blend out the background color. We're going to use that E40 to just blend it out, write it a little bit into that crease so that everything goes nice and smooth and seamless. There's no harsh lines. Now for the brow highlight, I'm going to use one of my favorite techniques, and that's to use a matte color over a shimmery color. So I'm starting out with Shroom. This is a kind of lightly shimmered, nothing color. It doesn't have a whole lot of color to it, but it gives some shine to the eye. Then I'm going over that with Orb, which has more of a pink tone, so it actually goes a little bit better with our overall eyeshadow schematic that we have on. So now for the lid, we're going to take a Sigma E55 and Sable eyeshadow from MAC. Sable is a very interesting neutral tone. It has sort of like a pinky, tanny, beigey, silvery kind of chameleon of a color without being obvious about it, like something like Vex or Motif that has that really, you know, obvious change to it. It's very subtle. Now, if you wanted to, you could definitely use Toasted from Urban Decay if you wanted something a little bit more warm brown. Now, unfortunately for liner, I used something that's discontinued. This is a color that MAC used to sell called Signed Sealed. It's a very, very dark purple. Now, if you wanted to use something very similar, there are colors that are similar in the Lust palette from Wet n Wild. MAC's Shadowy Lady is very, very similar. Honestly, you could use black, it really doesn't matter. I just wanted to use something a little bit softer than black, and so the eyes would maintain a little bit more of a softer edge. Then in the waterline I turned around and used black, go figure, and this is Graph Black Technical by MAC. I like the Technicals because they're actually waterline approved, but they're also long lasting. So if you have a little bit of an issue with irritation in the eye area, I would recommend using the Technicals in the waterline. Then I'm going to use one of my favorite mascaras. This is MAC's Hot and Naughty, and I'm just doing the mascara thing. Nothing special. Then I'm going to do something a little different on the inner corners. I'm going to take this Makeup Forever Aqua Eyes Liner in 23L. Unfortunately, they don't have cool names. It's sort of a very, very, very pale, shimmery champagne pink. I'm going to place that just right there at the inner corner just to give it a little highlight. And then I'm also going to use that same pencil in the bottom waterline. This is going to give my eyes a nice open, wide-eyed effect without having to actually draw on white, which can look a little fakey. So at this point, you're basically done with the eye makeup. If you wanted to, we left a soft edge here so you could easily smoke a little color on the bottom. Every now and then I like to leave it clean. It just gives me a more wide awake appearance as opposed to something sultry. And this is kind of like a fun date makeup as opposed to a super sultry. Now for a little fun on the cheeks, I recommended something very similar to a friend the other day, and I liked it so much on her that I thought, you know what, this deserves to be in a video. So I'm going to take a little bit of this blush by Wet n Wild. It's called Heather Silk. It's a blue pink. Tap off the extra and just kind of pounce that on the cheek, as you do. So this is actually like the color part of our cheek, and now we're going to add kind of like a little topping on it. Now I'm going to take a little bit of our background singer color, Charisma, and I'm going to get that on a little blush brush and work that on top of it so it gives it this cool like blue, pink, lavender highlight. It's kind of fun and funky. Maybe not something for like a first date, but maybe, you know, you've been with your beau or your husband or your dude or your chick or your whatever for a long time, like they know you're kind of artistic and weird. So for lips, we're going to keep it really, really simple, like really simple. Really on dates, I tend to just wear like lip balm or something just because he likes to smooch me and I like to let him. But that wouldn't make a very good video. So we're going to use a little bit of Love Nectar Lip Luster Glass actually from MAC. It's a very sheer like peachy pink. I love this one. It's just really soft. To quote Mr. Vintage or Tacky, if you don't pop, it doesn't pop. And that about wraps it up for my date makeup video. This is something that I get requested many times, and really truly any makeup that you wear on a date is date makeup, but I felt like this is something that is really authentic to me. This is something that I would recommend for a friend to do, something like a colorful smoky eye, nothing too sultry though, nothing that looks like you're trying too hard, and just have fun with it. And that's the whole point, is to have, you know, fun on a date, right? I will have a full list of products and everything on my blog as always, and that's pretty much it. Have a great day, you guys. I'll see you in my next video. Remember to be vintage or tacky. Just be yourself.